So without further ado, so excited to have everyone here. My name is Beth Mihaly. I am Senior Training and Education Manager here at Hydrafacial. I've been with the company for 5 years, and I really manage everything to do with scalp health and hair health and Keravive. And some of you I know are return guests, and so lovely to see you all. And some people are new to HCAG, so we're delighted to have you. And you're in for such a treat today. And I want to introduce my co-host today, who is Lisa Pohorsky, and she and the team at Las Vegas Dermatology are zooming in, streaming in live, and we're mixing it up this time because we have, of course, the amazing Dr. Greenberg. We like to call him Dr. Vegas. He's going to be coming in at the 1 hour point to answer all of your questions, and he's such an amazing resource when it comes to hair restoration and Keravive. So we want you to make sure, ask any questions. All questions are great. This is the opportunity and the platform to do it. So again, I'm Beth Mihaly, delighted to see all your beautiful faces. Love seeing you on camera. I see Jasmine and I see some other folks there. And Lisa, if you have a second, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, I know, and the team there at Las Vegas Dermatology.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to make sure our camera's on. Hi.
Perfect.
I don't know if you can see me because we have our demo going on here, but I am Lisa. I'm the business development manager for Hydrafacial in Las Vegas. And I'm excited because we're going to do this live. We're going to show the demo with the dermatoscope, which is a camera that will get a close-up of her scalp. And then we also will be doing the demo here in the treatment room. So we're super excited. We've been practicing this for a while, so we want everyone to be able to see.
It never rains like this overnight.
And if everybody could mute themselves, that would be great. And there'll be an opportunity to ask questions too. So a little bit, I just want to give Lisa a little love and team. She's very humble, but Lisa is the incredible BDM out there for Las Vegas Dermatology and in that area. And she's such a great Keravive enthusiast and practitioner, and she's great at what she does. And we're so grateful to have her and the entire Las Vegas Derm team. They're incredible practitioners as well. And so happy to have her here. I'd love for you all to follow me on Instagram, unless you already do, obviously. I'm XBAM. And I'll tell you what, I will share your stories. I will bring you stories. I will give you content that'll really help elevate your Keravive business. And I love to connect with each and every one of you. And we're always looking for other guests that I'm going to plug in for the last quarter of the year as well. Every question is great. Please use this as a platform. We are here to help you and support you and grow your business, not only just Hydrafacial, but Keravive business as well. So let me tell you what's on deck for today. So we're going to do this incredible live interactive demo, and I love it because we're flipping it around. I'm thinking about Missy Elliott, flip it and reverse it, right? We're going to start, we usually start with the didactic, with the learning, with the education, and then end with a live demo. But I love, we're flipping it around a little bit, and you see that incredible, super cool dermatoscope. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but that's where you want to have your eye on in a second here. So we're doing the live interactive demo, then we're going to do a midpoint, then we're going to chat with Dr. Greenberg, who is amazing. Please ask any and all questions. Then we'll go over kind of the regular Scalp Health 101 and all about Keravive and Hydrafacial. Ask any questions to the chat box. I asked to do chat box, please, and instead of unmuting, so we're not all talking at the same time, and I'll make sure I keep an eye on that. And you can always shout out, tag what we're doing on social media, Instagram. Nothing as great as Instagram is for free advertisement and brand awareness for all of you. So tag, and add HKX Keravive at Hydrafacial and tag me. And we're going to get right into it. So I'd love to, in the chat box, just for a little interaction, and if you have reaction buttons, we love to see hearts and thumbs up and whatever you got, then I know it's interactive and you guys are listening, you're excited, you're engaged, or add stuff in the chat box. But I'd love to know one word in the chat box that, I love it, thanks Gabriella, I love it, what you want to get out of today. Just give me one word, and so we can kind of get the momentum going and started. So super excited about that. So what we're going to do right now is get right into it. We're going to experience this live Keravive demo streamed from Las Vegas Dermatology with Lisa, Melissa, and Maria as the amazing model. So I'm going to have you all take it away over there at Las Vegas Dermatology and show us this amazing demo. Go for it.
Thanks, Beth. So what we're doing now is we're scoping the scalp with a dermatoscope. This is going to give the client a really good close-up of what their scalp looks like and their scalp health. So as that's being shown with the dermatoscope, it'll show you like the buildup that Maria has on her scalp. There's some little spots where we found there's a little flakiness in some of the areas. And what we want to do is really help with the improvements. So we're kind of giving you a little bit of a close-up of what it looks like beforehand. And we took some pictures before we started on the live also. So Melissa can share those with you. But I just wanted to kind of demonstrate what the dermatoscope looks like. These are something that you can get on Amazon. They're really user-friendly and it helps to sell the product. I saw somebody in there said that sales is what they really want to learn. And this is going to help sell the treatment for you, because like with Hydrafacial, we say you have to get it to get it. You want to see the before and afters. This is going to show them the before and after, and they're also going to feel the difference with their scalp and how healthy and amazing it feels. And your hair, I did one last night on myself, and honestly, my hair is like 10 times more the volume and it feels more amazing because my scalp was very itchy last night. So this will help with all of those concerns, but also just for the overall, when you have healthy hair or healthy scalp, you're going to have healthier hair, healthier growth on that. So these are just really good ways to promote it. And it also helps it so that it's people that are like, it's non-invasive. So people that don't like needles or they want to get away from something that's more invasive, this is really a great way to demonstrate. And I've seen from some of my locals here that they get amazing results with the before and afters. Within a month's time, they'll start to see results. So we're going to start with this. So when we're starting the Keravive demo, we part the hair like Melissa has here in the sections, and yeah, so we'll show you the scalp or the scope and the pictures before and after. Do you have your little, so we'll show you some of the before and after, the befores, and then when we're done with the demo, we'll show you the afters. So when we start with the scalp, we're just parting it, and then it gives you for a cleaner line of when we're going to exfoliate. So the first step is to purify, which this helps with identifying the main areas of concern. So once you have identified the areas, we want to clip it back, and then we're going to hold the sections so it doesn't interfere with the working area. So we're going to perform 2 passes on that. Are you able to see her before and afters? We're trying to zoom this in, but back it up a little.
Yes.
So you see that oily buildup on there?
Yes, we can see your scope. It looks amazing. And I'd love to add something. And you can see at the base of the follicle, there's what's called keratin plug. And I mean, Maria's got to be so excited. Her scalp is going to thank her, because her scalp is pretty darn healthy, but you can see flakes and plugs and some dead skin cells and oil, like Lisa so beautifully said. And I love this scope. And by the way, for the whole team, another great scope picture. I'm going to make sure a follow-up email, I'm going to send you all the name of the scopes. So don't worry, we'll get you the name of the scope Lisa's using, a particularly good one that has a light on it. It's great. But when you use, and I love that, you can see the flake at the base of that follicle, just incredible. And just when you use a dermatoscope to consult, like they're doing right now, you have an 85% close rate. When you're talking about, some of you in the chat box are like, I want to sell this, I want to know how to talk about it. That scope is your magic little box to helping you with your, performing the best consultations, because you can say about 5 terms, like Lisa already did it beautifully, what you're concerned with, hair loss, hair thinning, write it on your intake form, that just your overall office intake form. Do you have hair loss? Do you have thinning? Is your hair shedding? Do you wear extensions? Do you wear braids? Do you wear locks? How often do you wash your hair? Do you use dry shampoo? All those questions. And that gives you this beautiful runway in. And that picture right there is incredible, because you can see the plugs and the flakes at the base of the follicle, and long-term congested follicles will cause hair loss, which can be permanent, can not be permanent. So it just depends. And that's your sign to start taking care of your scalp right now. Like, she's got a beautiful head of hair, Maria. A gorgeous head of hair, but her scalp needs some love. You all could see that on the scope. But when you use a scope, when you're showing your clients and your customers and you want to market it, educate it, sell through, use a scope. 75 to 80% close rate when you use a scope. Carry on. I just want to throw that in there. Sorry.
No, thank you, Beth. It's amazing, and I can't say enough, but it really does help with the before and after. So what we're going to do now is we're going to perform the cleansing of the scalp. So we're going to do 2 passes, which is short strokes in that area. We're going to be using the extract, or beta, as some have known also, to do the exfoliation on the scalp. So Melissa's setting this up now. Any of you that have the devices, if you have the older devices, it is a 25 for the vacuum setting on this, and we're using a blue tip and then the extract. We're using our new Syndeo, which is great because it has the light stem with it, so you'll be able to see all of the items that we're using, or the treatment. So now what we're going to do is Melissa's just going to go and she's going to exfoliate the scalp with little strokes. She's going to make one stroke, one of them passes one direction, and then she's going to go turn around and go the other direction to really get the exfoliation. This is getting up all the dead skin cells that will be on the scalp that we saw from the dermatoscope. So you'll start to see the improvements once we go through this. You really just, with the scalp, everyone's head is a different shape. So some are a little more round, some are a little more flat. So you just want to get your best occlusion and make sure you're getting a constant, that suctioning sound that you're occluding with the wand. So what this is doing is stimulating the scalp until the scalp turns like a noticeably pink or flushed, which is normal and healthy. That's we know that we're getting good blood flow, and which is going to help for improvements. How does that feel so far, Maria?
Feels so good.
She's like saying it feels so good because it's so relaxing. It's like getting a nice little, whereas opposed to like the Hydrafacial for the face, you're going to give a little bit more pressure with the scalp. So it's okay to do that because we're trying to really make sure we get everything in there and we're cleaning her scalp the way we want it to be, nice and healthy. And she's getting a little bit of pink right there, which is really beautiful. And then we're going to go backwards. And then what we'll show you after this is how Melissa's going to part it. So you're just going to take each section of the hair when you're parting it, and about the size of the width of the tips is about how much you want to dissect it.
So someone was saying they're having a hard time seeing the main screen. I just stopped my share. Is it better? Crystal, I can see you only. So Crystal, is this better view? Yes? Okay, fabulous.
Yes.
Thanks, Crystal.
So she's just going downwards, and then she's going to go back and she'll dissect it from another section, and she's just going to unclip it. Some of you that may be Cosmos, it might be easier for you. SDs, you can just practice. This is the part that takes the longest. It's just learning to dissect the hair. So, but she's just going to take a little bit of width, and she's going to try to get as much of the scalp coverage as she can. And as she does that, she's just going to, she's being so mindful and demure with her.
And I'll add something to that. I just used one accessory, which is the treatment clip only, because
Nice.
It has a fine tip side. So I don't have comb and clip, because that can take a little bit longer, and it's just about practice. So for me, I just use that treatment clip you see right down by her wrist, and it has a pointed side. I part with that clip, section, part, clip, section, part, clip. And
that's very smart,
right? But I love the idea of a comb too. But for me, it's just like, if you want to kind of streamline it, I like doing the clip. And
no, that's a great idea, Beth. We were trying to make it look pretty.
I already
Oh,
have
well,
the
it
plans
looks
for the
super
day,
pretty
so I'm
and it
like,
looks
okay, I'm gonna wash
amazing.
my face
And
with ice
so
a
there's a
little bit,
couple of
and
questions
then
on the
we'll watch our
screen.
Keravive seminar.
What, say again?
We were trying to make it look pretty for the camera, but
Oh, it looks gorgeous. And my gosh, she has a gorgeous head of hair.
Okay.
But anyway, so let's see. Rachel says, is this a blue or teal tip? And what a great question, Rachel Rogers, because this is the Hydropeel blue tip. Funny that you ask about the teal tip, because I know in the past, people who had a hard time getting occlusion with a blue tip used the teal tip in the past. So right now and protocol, we just say use the blue tip. Now, what I will tell you all, you'll be the first to know, something that I'm working on with the Hydrafacial team, the R&D department and our marketing department and everyone is creating, wait for it, new awesome Keravive tips for 2025. Yes. So because we've heard you guys say, oh my gosh, I have a hard time getting occlusion on some scalps. Is so we worked with the R&D team and we already have a prototype made. So stay tuned. I'm so excited and I hope you are too. This is gonna make everything super duper easy. And then someone else said, and you're doing a beautiful job. I want you to look at her technique is spot on, beautiful. She's doing what I call a mini scrub, a little mini scrub up and down. Her technique is on point perfection. And the idea is we say do 2 passes, just so you get, Lisa talked about that pink kind of blood flow note. When we have blood flow, we have a couple things. We know we have healthy blood flow to that scalp and follicle and hair. When you have blood flow, you have hair life. When you have no blood flow, you have the opposite of hair life. So we're creating this incredible microcirculation, exfoliation, tissue oxygenation, and blood flow with what she is doing right now so beautifully that nothing else out there can do. No other device, no hairstylist, and I love all the hairstylists out there, but nothing can do like this little magic wand is doing. So anyway, I just want to jump in and 2 more questions. Can you order the hair clips? We have them available in when you buy the Keravive Expert Kit bundle or the Keravive Pro Kit bundle, and I'll show those later on. And Antonia asked, how long should a full Keravive treatment take? So great question. And Lisa, maybe you can maybe jump in too if you want. But for me, what I say, it depends on the thickness of the hair. If you got super thick hair, it could take you longer. If you have a super congested scalp, it can take you longer. But if you're doing like a full head, like braids, locks, extensions, or someone just wants the full head, which I can see why they do, they want, it can take about a solid hour. And by the way, it's quality of value. You don't want to just zoom someone in, zoom someone out. They're like, then, you want to really give that full experience and give them a full hour if you're doing a full head. And that includes 16 minutes of the light therapy with the Ellipsa. And then if I may, there's one, thank you. Neve Krieger answered the question. Thank you so much. I don't know if I said your name right. Blue tip, absolutely. Nikki says she bought the bundle, but the clips weren't available. Well, Nikki, you DM me, or I think, Nikki, you have my email. Email me and let me know. I'll make sure you get the clips. Is there an extra charge? Ooh, memory. Oh, wait, it says Memory Pipitone. I don't know if that's the person's name. If it is, super cool name. Memory Pipitone. Oh, right on. Cool name, Memory. Is there an extra charge if the client has very thick hair? That's a fabulous, fabulous question, because if they have very thick hair, and maybe Lisa and Maria and Melissa can kind of chime in, because what I would say is, think of your time and how much time you're taking in the treatment room, and maybe the answer is yes. I mean, I've heard people that say, for people who have like a larger face, like if you use more products with you're doing, any kind of a hydrofacial for the face, or even skincare line companies that we partner with say, yeah, you take a little more time, you charge a little more money. But Lisa, do you have any, what would you weigh in, and your team there at Las Vegas Dermatology, if there's an extra charge for thicker hair that takes longer to get through?
Yes, that's a great question. I always tell my accounts that when they are, you do want to charge accordingly, making sure like have the consultation first and look, be able to assess the person and look at their hair and how much you think, and let them know, this is what we charge. Some of my accounts actually charge anywhere from $650 to $700 if they're only insisting on doing the single treatment. However, I always just really emphasize that it's important to do it and sell it as a 90-day package. And that way, when you're selling it, you're telling them like you need those 3 treatments to really get that skin turnover, the cell turnover, just like with your face, with the scalp. You need that time to see the results. So they need those if you're going to sell them a package, you can give them say, well, okay, if you're charging more for the one, you're for the 3 in a package of 3, tell them you're going to do it for $1,500 or $1,200, whatever you want to do their discount at, but they're getting a better price by doing the package of 3, and they're going to get the better results. They're also going to get the take-home spray with them each time, that they're going to use that for 1 month in between the treatments. And so we always know that in the treatment room, you're getting 20% of what you need and for your improvements. But when you go home, you're actually getting, 80% of that time you need to be doing your part too. So that take-home spray is really important for making sure they're using that nightly and getting that result. So just let them know that bottle that they're getting with the package is $100 on its own. And they're also getting the treatment. So with all the same serums that we're going to include. And there's 2 vials that we sometimes use in the treatment, depending on the scalp and how much they're going to absorb.
I want to do the Komodo. I heard that's a really
Hey
nice
guys, can you make sure you mute yourself? We can hear a couple people talking.
Oh, playa.
No worries.
So what I was just going to say is it just helps with, so letting them know that they're just getting a lot more with this package, but they're getting that take home spray too, which is $100 value. So that's what I let them know is just, hey, and then if they're going to need more of the solutions, make sure you're just charging accordingly. So I have a lot of clients now, or a lot of accounts that'll tell me, just to simplify it, they just do the one price and then they leave it at that so that they don't make it so confusing. But say you get a man in that's, got really short hair, it might take you not quite as long. You can always kind of assess with that. And it's always easier to lower the price with a discount than it is to raise the price, right? So if you start with the higher price, you can always go in and give a discount if you feel it's necessary.
I love that. That's such a great answer. And bravo to you, Melissa, I believe, because I saw her look at her switch and did the treatment clip by itself. So she's multi-talented. Bravo. It'll save you all time in the treatment room too. And way to go. And Nikki asked, and I think you kind of answered it just now. I don't, Lisa. Nikki says, how do you decide how many vials of Keravive to use on a full scalp, and how do you charge for extra vials? Do you want to answer that?
So what I always tell people is, like I said, charge the higher price if you're charging them, if you're selling them a package for $1,500, that will give enough for 2 vials and the take-home spray. It comes with a tip and everything included in that. Now, if they're going to, if you're going to give a discount, you always want to make sure you're getting the cost per treatment. But the cost per treatment, we went and last year we kind of redid the whole Keravive solutions. We packaged them different. Now you can buy them in a package of 6 box of a box of boosters. So it's $300 for that. Your tips you can now buy in a strip of 15 also. So those are $50 for the strip of the tips. If I'm not incorrect, I might be off by a couple dollars.
15 and $45 for 15. But when you buy in the bundles, it's a way better deal. Did you guys switch tips?
No, we're still doing the blue tip.
You're still doing the blue tip. Amazing. Yeah. Ooh, can we see the tip?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, back it up a little.
Back it up a little.
Back it up. Closer to her head.
Like over towards her head.
It's kind of out of focus. It's okay. We can see it later. Okay. Wow.
It's got really a lot. It's got a lot of
dead skin cells.
Yeah, it's got a lot of skin cells. It's got a lot of bubble to it.
Love it. You guys are doing such a beautiful job. There's a couple more questions, Lisa, for you and me. Let's see. And Nikki, give me a thumbs up, to DM me about the clips that we're missing. We got memories. And then Nikki, Lisa just did a beautiful job answering how do you decide how many vials, full scalp, how do you charge for extra vials? Bravo. Tonia says, Tonia Cardi, another cool name, or Tanya, probably Tanya. Listen, I'm trying to make it fancy. Does Hydrafacial plan on coming out with a shampoo and conditioner to help enhance the treatment? And oh my gosh, you read my mind. And I
just talked about this today.
You were? So
yeah.
Not at this time. I mean, what I want to get is the new tips. Those are going to be the jam. Those are going to make life easy. That's going to make your treatment work like the smooth as glass, right? But as far as the shampoos and conditioner go, I am partnered with several companies that do created some incredible shampoos and conditioners that I recommend, that our team recommends. So when I send all of you the follow-up email, I'm going to add with the DermScope recommendations, I'm also going to add shampoo and conditioner recommendations that are bomb. And I think all of you can also gain access to them at places like Salon Centrics, because if you're an esthetician, you are able to go into those stores, I believe. So you'll be able to get some of these on with your esthetician discount, etc. So I wish. So keep thinking good thoughts. Now, Lisa Wensley asks, any special consideration for coarse hair? And then Nevea Taylor says, yes, like, should they come in with detangled hair prior to treatment? Also, amazing questions. And coarse hair, the only special consideration, I would say, it kind of goes with the tips. It may take some work to get occlusion if they're super coarse hair, but no special consideration, because you can see Maria has a lot of hair and it's coarse. It's not thin. She's got a massive, gorgeous head of hair there, and that's coarser hair. So, but if you're talking about hair that's like you can't part, I would just really consider working on getting that occlusion with the tip, but no real special considerations. But I love where Nevea is going. Like, should they come in with detangled hair prior to the treatment? Wow, that would be amazing if they're willing to do it. But that may be something where you could do a therapeutic brushing before the treatment. Maybe you charge a little extra for it. So I love boar bristle brushes. They're amazing for your hair. They're one of my favorite brushes. So maybe part of the pre-treatment is do a special thorough a therapeutic brushing beforehand. That would be amazing. And that kind of gets that blood flow started. You have anything you would add to that?
I was just agreeing, saying like, yeah, with a customization, like you do with the treatments for anything Hydrafacial, we're always saying that there's other providers out there, right, that are doing the same thing, but what is your unique take on it? What are you going to offer to make it a little more special for that client and make it feel worth their time, right? And their what they're getting for their money. So yeah, I definitely think anything you can add special to the treatment is always nice to help sell yourself and sell that treatment for you.
So let me ask you this right now. You've done the first pass, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now. Are you going back and doing the left side?
Yeah, so we're doing okay. I'm backwards, so I gotta say, yeah, the left side.
Got it. And then awesome. I love that you're doing that way. That's the way I do it. Love it. And just giving you all, my amazing team, a time check. We're at 30. We have 30 before Dr. Greenberg comes on. And I wanted to, so we got 30 minutes left before he comes on, but there's some really great questions on the, in the chat box. The Quibbler, what a cool name. Love the Quibbler. What if someone has eczema or psoriasis or dandruff? Can they still have a treatment? And for the Quibbler, I want you to wait. And that's something I want you to ask Dr. Greenberg, because their team, since he is a board certified, amazing dermatologist, he's got more accolades than like a lot of dermatologists I've ever seen. He's so talented. And that's something I'd love for you to bring up, because they do treat, but it's because he's a dermatologist and he's able to to give the okay. For things that are scalp diseases or scalp, things like eczema, psoriasis, if there's actinic keratosis or any kind of precancerous things on there, you got to get a doctor to look at it first, or if they're pregnant, or if they're nursing, or if they went through radiation and chemo, they got to ask their oncologist. So the quibbler, I want you to ask that, or I will pitch it out. You know what? I'll pitch it out to Dr. G when he hops on. And the dandruff question for the quibbler and everyone on the call. Can they still have a treatment? Heck yes. And should they if they got dandruff? Absolutely. Because one of the best things I've ever seen to help dandruff is the treatment you're looking at right now. For people who suffer with long-term dandruff, it has been phenomenal, game changer. So yes, yes, and yes. And I'll ask Dr. Greenberg when he hops on. Christine Parks, great question. Would we ever use 2 blue tips if the first one gets too clogged? Heck yes. And that has happened. And that's a great question. And so yes, the answer is yes. Kadeen, is this treatment good for bald head, not looking to grow hair, but just for the health of the scalp? I love that question. I'm going to toss it over to the Las Vegas Derm team and Lisa, and I can also add on to that. How about somebody setting expectations for bald hair, that's not necessarily wanting or expecting to grow hair, or they may be pleasantly surprised that there's still a follicle to revive. What would you say, Lisa and team?
Absolutely. I would say anytime anyone has, especially if they're sporting their bald scalp, they want it to look, they want to make sure it's exfoliated and it's clean and it's polished. So this is definitely a great treatment for that. Or they could revitalize their hair, just depending on which way they want to go. But I know there's a lot of men that'll just shave their head. So, but yeah, I definitely would say I've seen it on the bald men also. So it's a great treatment for just the scalp and the overall health of the scalp.
Yeah, I mean, they want a good looking, sexy scalp, why not, right? I mean, they're showing that scalp off. They want it to look great. They want it to look as healthy and glowing, as even toned as the rest of your face. So absolutely. And here's what's wild. It's with Keravive, you would be surprised what happens. It's really hard to know if there's a follicle left to revive. So we have an amazing BDM out in the East Coast. Her name's Penny. She was an RN. She was one of my guest speakers, like Lisa is, a while ago. And she did a treatment on her husband who had that typical area of balding on the top of his crown. And she was like, let's just give it a shot, hon. So she did the treatment on him, and his hair grew back on that shiny bald spot. I know, I love your face, Crystal. I'm with you, Crystal. I was like, it was, if I had to look at it and just guess, because I would say, no follicle left to revive, but it revived hair, and it grew back the hair. Not full, it didn't have this gigantic, massive head of hair, but boy, it fill in. It was amazing. So I love that. And there's a couple more questions. Can I pop those in, Lisa? You good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So Jasmine says, did you pre-treat the scalp with anything before you started? And no, right, team? You didn't. No. We don't typically do that.
We did not.
And that might go along with, in the old days, we used to say, come with clean, dry hair. And boy, oh boy, if I got to come wash my hair and dry it before I go in and get a treatment, it's not always easy to do. What if you're coming on your lunch hour, right? So we realized it was unnecessary. Come with clean hair, come with dirty hair, because guess what? If you come with dirty hair, you'll have the best gunky you've ever seen.
That's right.
And there's right? And there's nothing that cleans your scalp as well as what you're looking at right now. I mean, it's remarkable. So great question. I think that was Jasmine. Navia, I apologize for saying your name wrong. I know the hydrofacial clips were talked about, but I would love to have some more information sent in an email. Curious if they are for purchase. I've never seen them as an online option, never received them. So great question. And I have a lot of accounts who, if they don't have these clips that you're seeing that are just branded hydrofacial Keravive, they'll go to Sally's Beauty Supply, Amazon. They're incredibly inexpensive, and then they'll just buy these clips there. But I can let you, that's really it, because we don't sell them only except in a package, Navia. And I would just jump on Sally's Beauty Supply or one of your beauty supplies and grab some, or Amazon.
Do we still have them in the bundle, Beth, or do we? I know we have. That's what I'm saying.
We have them in Expert Kit, and we have them in the Pro Pack.
Yeah, so definitely in the new or the promo that we're having this month for the massage scalpers or scalp. I
Right.
can't talk right now, but those actually work really well for
Right.
with the treatment. They come with the promo.
Right. And I'll show you a picture of a promo later. Tanya said, if you want to add this into the new head spa treatment, which I love, you're adding this to a head spa. That was my last HKX. All about it. Because head spa, everybody's talking about it. TikTok's going nuts. People are going nuts. Consumers going nuts. Head spas treatments are okay, but they're missing this. This is what they're missing right here. So if you can add in this to a head spa, you are giving a 5-star experience. And that's what head spa people are missing. So I love the idea. Could this be performed on wet or dry hair only? Great question. And here's fun fact. Wet hair, and I'm talking soaking wet hair, provides a natural protectant and barrier. So if you're ever going swimming in a swimming pool or out in salt water, if you get your hair wet with water, like regular tap water, then it provides a natural barrier so your hair has less damage. That being said, the idea would be to let it at least air dry 5 or 10 minutes before you do the Keravive, Tanya. Hope that's helpful. Got so many great questions coming in. Scarlett, I have a lot of African-American clients who do braids. Oh, I love this question. And use oils to soften the scalp. Love that even more. You mentioned product recommendations. What I suggest my clients so it doesn't clog the scalp further? Scarlett, I love your question. Here's the thing. The oils with people who have braids and locks, they're being advised to not wash their hair a lot and just keep using oils. And what do you think happens if you're not washing your hair and you keep using oils? And I'll tell you, and I love talking about this, but it's going to continue to clog the follicles. The oil is going to cease to do what their loctician or their person that's doing their braids wants it to do, which is to moisturize the scalp. In fact, it's going to end up clogging the scalp. That coupled with only wash your hair twice a month. I feel this special need to tell the world, and I have been when I can get on platforms and talk with the Natural Hair Institute as, a speaker for them, and they agree that you need to definitely keep your scalp cleaner and back off on leaving oils on the scalp. Just because it makes sense, right? Because all you're doing is packing, congesting, more oils, creating more inflammation, and you're not washing it and cleaning it off. It ends up creating inflammation, painful scalps, and it can lead to hair loss for people with braids and locks and extensions and things like that. So what I suggest, I love, and I'll just say it right now, the K18 product, K18. And that's something I was going to shoot you guys in an email. By the way, time check for my beautiful team. We've got 20 minutes left until Dr. Greenberg comes on.
We're going to speed it up and we're going to go.
Awesome.
We're going to go to the Keravive. Yep.
Cool. Back to Scarlett. So Scarlett, I love K18. My suggestion to your clients, be that person that makes a difference, that educates your clients in the way they need to be educated to clean their scalp more. And it's not going to hurt their hair. It's not going to hurt their braid. It's going to surprisingly make their scalp feel healthier, less painful, and they're going to be relieved with all of those things. So one thing I would say for someone who has relaxed hair, that's my only caveat. If someone pays a lot of money, Scarlett, to relax their hair, we know if you get it wet, it can revert back to curl. So that's my only thing. And that would be in the technique too. So if you can get super focused with that tip and just touch the scalp only, even with hair that's been relaxed, then it shouldn't revert it back to curl. Scarlett, give me a thumbs up if that was helpful or if you want more information. Okay, I got a hand clap. Kristen, Avea. What was that helpful? Let me know. Okay. And then I see Lisa's following. Tonia. So then would you recommend Keravive in between getting hair redone? 100,000,000%. Like one of the best things. Ooh, look at that tip. Oh my gosh. That's a beauty. Wow. And so you're going to clean the hand piece in between. You can, if it's super clogged, use your little brush, clean it in between. It prompts you to do a cleaning step. I lost my train of thought. That tip was so amazing. What was I talking about? Would you recommend Keravive in between getting hair redone? Yes. Between extensions getting moved up, between your braids, between your locks. Yes, and yes. Every time I see someone with braids or locks that either is someone I see at the gym or someone that comes into our company, I was like, can you please let me treat your hair with Keravive? You will thank me. And they do, and they're happy, and it almost makes me cry. So yes, between treatments, between when you move the extensions up or down, just do it. Whether it's while they're in, while they're not, just get Keravive in the head, on the scalp. I get kind of excited about that. Haley says, I'm sorry if it's asked, but can you address? Haley, we're going to wait till Dr. Greenberg hops on. He's going to hop on in about 15 minutes about scalp psoriasis. And I actually have some before and afters from Las Vegas Derm for a patient who had scalp psoriasis. So let's put a pin in that. Great question. So hang on with that. Oh, love it. Crystal says Salon Centric has them too. Thank you, Crystal. So that she's talking about treatment clips and K18, right, Crystal? Awesome. Kiara Brown, beautiful name. Does having more gunk from scalp treatment versus facial treatments play a role in the lifespan of the machines? Wow, great question. And that's a part in your maintenance. When we have our HFX trainings, we teach Syndeo, cleaning, update, and care. So that is a great question. And Kiara, I would say, yes, you should probably clean it more. If you're having gunky like you saw in that tip right now, or you're having a very congested scalp, and you'll see, I'll show you a picture between facial
Beth, I think we
gunky
lost
and
you.
scalp gunky. And yeah, you may want to, it shouldn't kill the lifespan. It just means do a little more cleaning. And I want to, Jasmine's opening a head spa in your salon. Brilliant. Jasmine, go back and watch the recorded version that I did last month with Lindsay Villarreal, and you're going to be blown away. Okay, talk to us about what you're doing. This is amazing. So they have the Keravive violin. Go for it, team.
All right. So for time's sake, we're going to kind of speed it up a little. We're going to do the Keravive treatment in the vials. This is a little bit thicker serum, so sometimes we have to either re-occlude the vial, or we have to take put up our volume just a little bit. But it's okay, because you're going to use all of this vial for sure. And if you need a second one, you'll use that too. That's what you're charging accordingly for. So just be mindful of that. Unlike where the face we can get 2 to 3 out of each vial. So, but Melissa is infusing the serum into the Keravive serum into the to her scalp. So she's working it in a tight grid pattern. We're just going to go back and forth, wiggle motion. Again, every scalp's different. Every way that you have to get it to occlude is the most important thing. And then also the setting on this one is 21 for the scalp to nourish it. So it went from a 25 vacuum to a 21. But that was a great question from before about the device. Also, I always say that the more, especially if you're getting more gunk out of the scalp, you'll just want to make sure that you are doing the manifold rinse more often. And you also want to make sure you're changing your tubing probably a little bit more often. Like typically with just the face, we'll say every 6 months. I'd say you might need to do 3 to 4 months if you're getting a lot, just for the longevity, because you can get a lot more through the scalp than you can sometimes even on the face. So then what we're gonna do after this is we'll get into the LED light and show you how to do that too afterwards. We're gonna just do one pass on this because of time. So Melissa will do one pass for a couple of the sections, and then we'll go into the LED light.
And you see how she's doing, I call it like a kiss and a wiggle. It's not a full twist. She's kind of twisting it a little, but you never want to fully twist like when you do a hydrofacial on the face, because you can pull out a hair that's still in an active growth phase. Her technique is perfect, right? And you just do one pass. You don't do 2 passes of that. That's beautiful. And there's a question from Brittany. Should guests take a week break from extensions to do this? Not necessary. You can do it with extensions in, without the extensions. Like I said, just go for it, Brittany. They don't need to take a break. She says, because wouldn't those beads irritate the scalp? I don't know how close the beads get to the scalp. I know more, like, I don't know if anybody has experience with the beads, how close they are to the scalp, but if you can get to the scalp skin without having, to touch the beads, like it should be fine. I think what you're getting at is when someone has extensions that are attached by beads, do they irritate the scalp? I don't know. That's the first time I've been asked. So if anybody on the call has an answer to that, I would say if anything's irritating the scalp, definitely wait till the irritation subsides to do anything on the scalp. That's probably a good rule of thumb. And
Yes,
Jennifer,
with
go
any
ahead.
treatment for sure. Or I was just gonna say with any treatment, I always tell people that too, for sure. Make sure there's no active flare-ups at the time.
Right. And Pat would like to see the yellow tip close up that you're using, the Keravive tip, if you could just show it to us. Beautiful, totally flat. Whoops, there we are. Totally flat. It's not angled like the blue tip. Oh, there, beautiful. You can see. Thank you. That was for Pat. Kelly says, so the first step involves 2 passes and this step is only 1 pass. Excellent observation, Kelly. The answer is yes. Excellent question. And Christina says, is this treatment safe if someone pregnant or breastfeeding? They need to ask their oncologist. I'm sorry, not gynecologist. Hello, obstetrician. They need to ask their obstetrician first, and they'll probably say no, just so you know, because they're, you know, so they need to ask their GYN. We are, how are we? We're at 10 till. So Rachel says, do it right before they move their extension. I love the idea, Rachel. Do it right before they move up their row of extensions. Is there a printout with the steps and when she switched the tips and setting on the bathroom, Jasmine? Yes, there is, and it's on the drop. The protocol is there, soup to nuts. I helped create it with marketing. It dials everything down on the drop, with everything you'll ever need and more, and a bunch of other assets are on the drop. There's about a library of them. We even have that loop that you saw when you were in the waiting room, that we have that available to you all. We have loops. We have, oh my gosh, Instagram posts for you. We have how to help build your website. And by the way, I want to tell everyone that's on the call, I hope if you have Keravive, please make sure you have Keravive on your website. That's my new thing. I check everybody's website out and they're like, I'm having a hard time selling Keravive. Well, I go back and look and they're showing Hydrafacial, but Keravive is not there. The market for the hair is even bigger than the market for the face. And don't lose out by not having this on your Instagram, on your website, anywhere. First rule of thumb. So fabulous. And oh, I think we got all the questions so far. And
we're going to do just a couple more passes,
okay,
Beth, so we can show them the LED because we want to make sure that we get everything in. So
you guys are doing great. It's 10 till. We got 10 minutes. And I love how she's mastered this clip. I just want to give her applause. I think I have a reaction button on here somewhere because you just mastered it. Bravo to you. And I love that. And you see how it's quicker with one accessory instead of 2? Fabulous.
And Maria's taking a nap, by the way. So
oh, you know, and we love that. And we love it. That's how we know how comfortable it is. And Krista gives a fire emoji. Love it. Crushing it. Again, this will be recorded for all of you. And you got like a high five and all kind of good stuff here. This will be recorded and available on the Hydrafacial website, like all of our other previous recorded HKXs are. And if you're, I mean, I have every guest you can ever imagine. And the last one I did, we featured on head spas, which you're going to love, especially those of you who are adding that head spa element.
I just wanted to point something out real quick because we're going to move on to the LED, Beth, but we'd like to also do around the crown or the front of the scalp where, because women especially, we pull our hair back a lot, but I sometimes will go around and have them do this part of the scalp, or the forward part. So you can just include the serum there.
That's one of the most important things that people miss, the frontal hairline. And guess what? That's what we care about. It frames the face. That's what we look at most. So I love that you add this. I think we add it to step 1, the cleanse tip. So do it to the cleansing tip, step 1 with the blue tip, and do it with this one. It's like the little cream on top, right? You want to make sure you're getting that frontal hairline because guess what? You see tiny little vellus hairs, baby hairs all around her beautiful hairline that want some more love, that want some more nourishing and attention. And that's what she's doing. So fabulous. Did you have another thing you want to add?
Well, I was just going to say, I saw someone's question. They asked how many vials on the scalp. And what I always add is, like, we haven't even used a full vial right now, Maria. But however, if their scalp is very dry, they might absorb it a little bit faster. So that's why I always say to go and spot treat first with the first vial. And then if you have the second one, you can go back and do the rest of the scalp. But the great thing is if you're charging accordingly, like we talked about earlier in the segment, is that if you're charging the full price and you don't use it all, that's okay. You know, it's just, but that way, you know, that for that next person that might not use as much, it's going to balance out for you with the cost per treatment. So I just say that sometimes you might use two, but always make sure you're always charging like you're going to use two. That way you don't have to go back and try to charge them more. You're not losing out on your treatment costs.
Love it. Also, the Quibbler asks, how do you position them to do the back of the head? And there's a couple of things. You can, if you have a massage table where you can face cradle down in the massage table, that's great. You can also sit them up like a salon chair, by the way, which is perfect. So I've seen people do this treatment with them sitting up, not laying down, so they can get to the full scalp, which is great. I've also seen these great little massage chairs you can buy for $60 on Amazon where they cradle the massage chair and you lean into it. You've probably seen them in airports where their face is cradled in. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, those are great.
Thank you, Crystal. I can only see Crystal's face, so she's my co-pilot. So anyway, yes, face down in a cradle like that, and it's super comfortable. So you can use that too. So that's how you position to do the back of the head. And Kelly was like, yes, we want to know. Crystal says, do we mainly treat just the crown? Great question. We treat areas of concern, which are typically for women. It's the temples, the frontal hair, the entire frontal hairline, the crown. Typically for women, like Maria's got an amazing head of hair, but like for women, for me, you can see we start to lose and our part starts to widen on the crown, on the temple, around the frontal hairline. But where we have lots of hair, and I'm going to turn around and show you the base of the back of the head, this is always the DHT resistant hair, right? That's why when you see guys balding, they usually start to lose it on the top, but they have a ton left on the base of the back of the head. So that's really depends on your person, your client. They may want their whole head done. So typically areas of concern, and Crystal, I'm going to show you a little PowerPoint on that as well. I was just reading these other, oops, I can hear my reverb. Okay, you're okay now. Okay, take it away. Oh, I love it. So they've got, you know, and what I would suggest for the positioning of this, I would lean it back like an old-timey hair dryer. Instead of not over there you go, and move the hair out of the way so it doesn't pull the hair. Canopy it over the head. Oh, and I definitely hear feedback. So there's probably another device in Las Vegas Derm that's unmuted. And Nikki says she loves this huge leg bolster. She sent us a picture. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, Kelly says, repeat the area concern. Kelly, for time's sake, also, I'm going to show you a diagram because after this, we're going to talk with Dr. Greenberg, and I'm going to go through our PowerPoint and show you all the pictures. You'll be able to see, Kelly. Krista says, I upgraded to a massage table and the ability to lift and adjust clients to an inclined position. That's awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Nikki's added more pictures. Love it. And so I love, well, we switched, I think they switched it. Can you tell us about how you have the light positions?
Yeah, we just, because of we're at a different angle today just for this live. We would normally do more of a 45-degree angle.
I see.
On the bed, but it's because we had to labor a little bit flatter. So we've just got this one where the light stem is, I don't know if you can see it. We can zoom
see it.
So the light stem is, if any of you use the light stem, it has like the little legs on it that can fold in or fold out. So we have it fanned a little bit above her scalp. So we're just gonna kind of go a little bit faster speed because we only have a few more minutes left. So we're gonna just probably stop the light. You can always do the light for the full amount of time. I say at least 5 minutes to make sure you're getting that booster really absorbed into the scalp,
right,
and getting it dry. But what is your what do you like usually to get the optimal results, Beth?
With the light?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I love, you know, I know just for the sake of the camera shot, I like to flip it. So, and I'll show you all a picture. So it's canopied over the head, and I'll show you the picture of that. For now, this is great.
Okay.
But you know,
Like-
that's how I do
like
it.
that.
Yes, that's how I do it.
Okay.
And it gets
Okay.
more even phototherapy, light therapy on all the follicles. And it's a it is a 16-minute treatment. You're using the anti-aging wavelengths, which are red and near infrared. So it's 16.
Perfect.
So
We're just
so
gonna
we're
turn
at
it off.
11:57.
So we're gonna go ahead and turn it off so we can
Okay.
show the rest.
Okay. And Kelly says, if we don't have the light stem, your practice has handhelds, absolutely fine. But Kelly, just for the sake of you and labor intensity, I'd invest in an Ellipsar light stem. We sell them separate, and it's 1,000,000% worth it. That's for Kelly.
So really quick, we're just gonna do the massager so you can see when you're done, and then we're going to, after that, we're gonna just demonstrate really quickly with the spray, the leave-on spray, the peptide spray they take home with them. This is really important that they use it every night, and then to make sure their scalp is at least 80% dry. And then we also recommend that they don't wash their hair for 24 hours after the treatment, in the in-room treatment.
Absolutely. How does that feel, Maria?
So relaxing.
Maria's like, don't bother me, I'm dreaming.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the spray, and we can demonstrate we're just going to take that, because it has the nozzle on here, which is really nice. And you can take the spray and just do a couple squirts of the serum into the scalp afterwards. And that way it's really going to absorb even more. Melissa's going to demo.
And remember, you don't have, it would be a waste to use this the same day, right? You already just infused the most hyper concentrated peptides into the scalp. So you don't use this take home spray until the next day. There's no need.
This is, we're just, just so they can see.
And
the
so
demo.
she's showing how to demonstrate, and it's super important for you as practitioners to do exactly what Las Vegas Derm is doing and demonstrate how to use it before they leave, so they know exactly what they're doing. And her technique, I love, because she's just doing one spray down. You'll see people that'll do a little spray, little circle, little spray, little circle. I love her style. That's how I do it on myself. I do it super quick. It gets it done easy. And it's like, it's the best method, because you're parting the hair with that tip of this nozzle, and it's just like user-friendly, super easy. It makes people more compliant. So I love it. I even part, like, so you all see me on the camera. Here's my spray. I'll just go down, and I have the cap taken off. I'll just go down and spray a row, spray a row, spray a row, spray a row, spray a row. See how fast I do that? Boom, done. Then I just massage it in, done, boom. And that's so easy. I do it before I go to bed at night. Ooh, look at that. Amazing. And I also do it after I've washed my hair, and I let my hair dry like 5 minutes, and then I use it twice a day. That is a heck of a gorgeous gunky right there.
Can you go in the zoom in, look at the floaty, so swirl it around a little?
Oh yes, we can see it. That's gorgeous. How about an applause for that gunky? I'm going to throw some
Look
hand
at the
claps
little
on there.
flake. You see the flakes in there?
Oh yes, we do. Did Maria see it?
Yeah.
So even if you have that gorgeous full head of hair like Maria, her scalp needed love, right? We can all agree.
Yes.
Because removing this off the scalp is just going to help with the health of her scalp. If she has an itchy scalp, if she ever gets dandruff or sebderm or anything, it's just such a beautiful methodology. So
we've got Dr. Greenberg. We're gonna have him log in. We're gonna hang on one second.
Okay.
We're just,
and I'm gonna look for him to admit him in, and then I'm gonna share my screen. So give me a minute, and I need you all to tell me what you see on the screen. Because I want to make sure I'm showing the right screen. Do you see notes, or do you see my note screen? Do I need to flip it, guys?
well, it's showing us on camera, but it's not letting him
I'm looking
go.
at Crystal. Do you see my screen, Crystal? Do you see a note section?
I don't have a Zoom. This isn't a Zoom.
Oh,
First, send me a Zoom.
Here.
Send me a Zoom invite.
Okay, hang on one second, Beth. We need to
Okay.
redo our. Can
No worries.
you send that link, the Zoom link, to Dr. Greenberg, because he doesn't have the Zoom on his. laptop.
Yes. I'm gonna look at Crystal. Crystal, can you see a full screen or do you see a split screen? Full screen. Thank you. Okay, and I'm sending the link to Dr. Greenberg. Let's see.
It's on your
Maybe
No,
let's see. Hey Rob, is there a chance, Rob, you could send the link? Thanks to Dr. Greenberg. Last minute to help. Am I in the wrong place? Okay.
Sure, I can send it.
Thanks, Rob. Rob is going to be sending that to Dr. Greenberg. And oh, look at that massage. Sign me up. Oh yeah. And you all can add you know, additional for doing a full scalp massage too. I mean, that's something they do in head spas. Okay, let's see. And that's a super important part of it being relaxing. And okay, I think we got Dr. Greenberg on. So excited. I'm gonna spotlight him here in a second. Or I actually think we're good. I think we don't need to spotlight, but absolutely looks gorgeous. Dr. Greenberg, tell me if you're good to go and got audio.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Fantastic. Can everybody hear Dr. Greenberg? Crystal, I can only see you. Give me a thumbs up. You can hear him
Yes.
loud and clear. Okay. Wonderful.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be fine.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna mute the treatment room and thank you, Lisa, Maria, Melissa. You did an incredible job. Your technique was incredible. Bravo. Thank you so much. That was lovely. We all appreciate that. And so excited today. You have Dr. Greenberg with us. You all are in for such a treat. So please meet Dr. Vegas, also founder of Las Vegas Dermatology, board certified dermatologist, and so many more wonderful things. Please follow him on Instagram. You can see the Instagram handles here. And do we see Dr. Greenberg on camera?
I'm right here.
Okay, looking, there you are. Amazing. Hi, Dr. Greenberg. So excited to have you. Oh my gosh. And I know everybody on the call is just thrilled. And could you just tell us a little bit about you and your background and what you like about Keravive and just a little bit about you?
Sure. So basically, I'm a board certified dermatologist. I'm the founder of Las Vegas Dermatology. I'm one half of the Derm Bros. There's me and Dr. Cotter there. I enjoy everything dermatology, and I always try to learn as much as I can. I attend multiple, usually national and international meetings every year. And in terms of Hydrafacial, I had been learning about the Hydrafacial when it first came out. And then when the treatment for the scalp came out, I was really excited about it because we have a number of treatments for the scalp. I have a one-page handout I give people when it comes to hair loss. But when I learned about Keravive, I was very excited about that. And it just gives us something else to add into our armamentarium of treatments for skin and scalp.
Love it. Love it. There have been a lot of questions on the front end, and then I'll tell you about it because while your team was doing the treatment, we've got some of my favorite questions. And I was so excited for you to be on because some of the before and afters that one of your team was posting was so incredible. I'm going to show it right now.
Okay.
And it's the before and after. You recognize this one. This is immediately before and after what your team said was psoriasis, like maybe, this beautiful before and after. So there were 3 people on the call asking about when you have a client or a customer or patient. I think you may be on mute, Dr. Greenberg.
I'm
Now
listening,
you're on mute.
yes.
Oh, right on. Okay. So when you have a patient who has psoriasis or eczema, can you walk us through what you do, how you recommend the treatment, and because we always say as a hydrofacial company, if someone has psoriasis or eczema or any kind of inflammatory scalp condition like that, or actinic keratosis, anything like that, they need to see their dermatologist first, right?
Mhm.
Can you just walk me through that? Tell us a little bit how you manage that.
Wow. Well, that's a lot. So it depends on what brings them in, but obviously, you see this person here and they've got flaking of their scalp. I'd want to know, is there inflammation as well as the flaking? Um, I'd want to know when the last time they washed their scalp was, because that may make a difference as to why they're flaking. There are people, and I didn't realize this because I'm just somebody who washes their hair every day, but there are people who go to the salon, they'll get their hair done and use dry shampoo, and they may not wash their hair for a week or more. And then some people, depending on their hairstyle, may not wash it at all. And the hydrofacial is going to really work to cleanse the scalp. But in terms of disease and recognizing, is this a disease process like seborrheic dermatitis or psoriasis or SIBO psoriasis? I think sometimes it's even hard for me to tell, to be frank. But I look for clues. If it's psoriasis, I look to see, do they have any nail involvement? Do they have any skin involvement anyplace else on their body? Such as the elbows, the knees. And if it's going to be seborrheic dermatitis, do they have scaling redness? Maybe in their nasolabial folds here. Do they have it on their eyebrows? Is it on their chest? Because that could be another clue. And I would just say that it's experience. If you have any questions as somebody who's providing these treatments, what I would say is, you tell the person that you're treating, your scalp looks like there may be more going on than just dry, flaky skin. You may need to see a dermatologist. We're going to clean your scalp today, but in the meantime, I think you should follow up with somebody else. I think the downside of doing this treatment is very small, in terms of, I don't think you're going to cause any problems for people, but that's how I would handle it.
Wow, I love that. And that was so valuable. And I'm so glad we recorded this, because we, over the years, 5 years, have had so many questions, and you just explained that so beautifully. And we appreciate that. We appreciate that all the way around. And I love so many things that you said, that you have to assess it as a dermatologist and look, and you look at the elbows, you look at other areas to really know. And I love what you said about, really the Keravive treatment isn't invasive or anything that could be, problematic. Usually you feel like it's kind of, it's not a harsh treatment, or I'm paraphrasing, but I love how you explain that. And what a great way to start, because we know that Keravive can help with, and I also love what you said about people are miseducated about cleaning their scalp. And we talked about that while I think you were with patients earlier on, but
Yeah.
they're miseducated. So people, and I just made this something, in the small platform that I have, to try to educate people. And there's people on the call too. Talked to them about, is for people or stylists or cosmetologists to say, hey, you don't, to misinform them on the cadence of washing their hair. It can be a long-term problem, and it's unbelievable. Like this whole dry shampoo thing you mentioned as well, it starts to clog the follicle as well, right? And cause congestion. And
Yeah. And I actually snuck into the treatment room while you guys were chatting earlier, just to see what was going on in there. And I think this was Maria's first scalp treatment. It may have been her second, but I thought it was her first. And I heard you talking about like TikTok trends, and I've been watching a lot of people going to these, scalp salons to get their scalps done, and they look really nice. That looks like something I'd like to try also. And we have this device here for the scalp as well as the body, and then there's the device that you can use for lymphatics. It's just that I never get to have a lot of treatments done because I'm so busy. But if you do these treatments, I think that you will see the benefit.
Absolutely. I love that. And thanks for adding to that, because of that whole wild head spa craze. And over here in LA, there's like a 6-month wait. And I'm like, I've gone to all of these. I'm like, let me
Sure.
check this out. And I'm like, awesome. Like you said, great, cool. It feels great. and my scalp is clean, but they're missing this part. They're missing the deep cleansing with the salicylic acid, with that vortex fusion, and infusing in the peptides that are nanoliposomal. So I love the idea. And there's actually a gal on the call, Dr. Greenberg, who's going to marry in like a head spa service with Keravive. And I think that's the creme de la creme. I think
Yeah,
that's
I don't think these things are mutually exclusive. And as I said, we're doing a lot of like platelet-rich plasma injections for people with hair loss. I mean, that's part of my practice is alopecia. And nobody's ever had enough money and nobody's ever had enough hair. Like you need these things to, I mean, you don't have to have either, but it certainly helps.
it does.
And if you do have them and you do have hair on your scalp and you want it to look its best, then you're going to need to do some kind of something. And
Absolutely.
at least the Keravive, it has a science behind it with the peptides that it does, improve the appearance and the fullness of the hair.
Love it. I love it. And by the way, in the chat box, Dr. Greenberg, Lisa Wensley is so excited. She says she and her mother were both clients of yours. So
How cool is that?
love it. Love to hear it, Lisa. And also, you were talking about combining with PRP and things like that. So maybe we should just get right into that as well. I know you and I talked in the past, like one of the things that people are asking for on this call is combining modalities. And you say you use PRP
Yep.
and because you're treating alopecia, and you like combining Keravive with your PRP treatments. Can you tell us a little
Right.
bit about that and what the cadence is? Do you ever do them on the same day? Hydrafacial says wait 2 weeks. For practitioners like you, you're like, yeah, we don't need to wait 2 weeks. So I love that this is a venue where you can talk about it in a platform. So I'd love to pass that to you.
Sure. I just wrote a blog. It took me a long time to put together. It's going to go out on Wednesday. I blog under the pseudonym Dr. Vegas, and the blog talks about, working out. And,
Ooh,
if you work out, you're going to have a nice looking body. If you work out more, it may look better. But then if you do your nutrition, it's going to look even better than that.
I love that.
And I would say the same for the scalp. So for somebody who has, who wants more hair, and if there is an underlying medical reason for hair loss, and you need to knock that out first, thyroid disease, kidney disease. I was at a meeting in Lisbon where they were talking about people not getting enough protein in their diet, and that's why they don't have great hair growth, is because they're just not getting enough protein. Once you've ruled out an underlying medical cause, then having something like Hydrafacial, and the way we work it in to our patients who are getting PRP is we'll do Hydrafacial first. We'll, infuse the Keravive, and the Keravive comes with a take-home applicator. So they get that. Then we'll do, and the scalp's totally clean now, and has been infused. Then we'll do PRP injections, and I mix my PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma, using the body's own platelets to help grow hair. And we'll put some lidocaine in there so that it takes away the pain. Do the entire scalp, and then after that, do microneedling with exosomes. And
Wow.
exosomes are these cell signaling proteins. In the case of the ones we use, they're from human fat. And they're like the little packages within the platelets that signal the body to regrow collagen, blood vessels, hair when there's been trauma. And that's the way that we do it. Plus, I think that Maria had the light stim on her scalp as part of the treatment to stimulate growth. There's a lot you can do, and I'm a huge believer in multiple modalities, doing them all in the same day because people are busy.
Right.
And if you've taken off the time and they're already at your office, there's no reason they shouldn't get, everything done while they're there. And I think it's better for everybody.
That makes sense. And thank you for addressing that. That's also a question that so many people have asked, and that's really, really helpful. And a couple things that I just love that you said about the different modalities and also the testing. You're saying, they need to determine what's really going on. There could be adrenal, thyroid, vitamin D, ferritin levels, all of those things, right? I love how you're saying that. It could be autoimmune, all kind, and now you're saying even protein,
Sure.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing round patches of hair loss, the round patches could be alopecia areata. It
Right.
could be they have tinea, a fungal infection of their
Oh,
scalp. They could have lupus.
yeah.
Um, you know, uh, like in planopilaris, there's a lot
Yeah.
of different conditions that can cause hair loss. And, the most common being, male pattern or female pattern loss, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other things. And yet, if it's just hair thinning, and I say just, but hair thinning is a big deal because you may look at them and say your scalp looks totally normal, but to them, they may have lost half their hair. And you aren't going to be able to know that. And I think having maybe empathy is the wrong word because you may not yourself have hair loss, but some sympathy for that person who really feels like they've lost their hair because they really might have, and you just can't tell because you never saw them before.
I love that. I love all of that. And one of the things you said about like fungus is interesting, or tinea, that like ringworm,
Yep.
maybe something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I had a question just because I got asked this a week or so ago, and my answer was like for anything fungal that could be, isn't that highly contagious skin to skin contact, right? Tinea.
I mean, it can be. The
Okay.
other thing is lice. We've seen lice in our clinic. Somebody
Wow.
comes in, you look at one of these little things on her on the scalp here, and when it starts crawling, that could
Oh,
be a problem. Um,
oh. Absolutely. And that's not an uncommon thing too. I've heard of that before too. So I think, for certain kind of treatments, proceed with caution and just right for someone who's not in a medical setting,
yeah,
probably.
yeah. But all that said, I still think you could hydrofacial all those people, and
Okay.
you're not going to hurt them.
Okay.
Um, you don't want to flick one of the little creepy crawlers on you, and
Right.
they have tinea, a scalp infection. You don't want that on you, and you
Right.
got to make sure that you're cleaning your instruments. The good thing with hydrofacial is, the wands. We have these disposable tips,
Mhm.
and it's not something that's circulated from person to person, which is good.
I love that. We got some questions in the chat box. May I toss these over to you?
Okay.
Okay. So one question was if you were, I don't think you were using ProCell. I think you were talking about exosomes or something. Someone's asking about ProCell.
We're not using that. I'm
Okay.
not familiar with that one
Okay.
specifically. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just,
Okay.
I just don't know that one.
Got it. Lisa answers Keravive first PRP injections, microneedling, and apply exosomes after. She was just reiterating your protocol. That's
Yep.
awesome. Then Tanya says, is the microneedling after the PRP done with microchanneling device with growth factor?
Yeah, the one that we use is the skin pen,
Okay.
but there's Dermapen, there's
Skin stylus.
yeah, there's so many pens, and I would just say whichever one you feel comfortable using.
Love it. Then Jennifer says, for microneedling after PRP, what depth do you use?
Uh,
Ooh,
um,
that's a
well,
loaded question.
that one I think it's 0.5. I think it's 0.5. Um, but it may be 0.75. Is Melissa there? It could be 0.75 to 1.
Melissa is there and she's on mute, so
Okay.
she may unmute. So I like going conservative. How you said, I think you said 1.5. Here she's unmuting,
No,
maybe.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She got
Oh,
thumbs
she's
up.
giving thumbs
So,
up.
yeah, it's either 0.75. I think it's probably 0.75. Yeah.
She's giving
Because
thumbs up.
when you're injecting, the PRP, we're going right down to the scalp. Um, and we're trying to get it at the base of the hair follicle when injecting. And again, these things, even what we're doing here, these are all FDA cleared treatments that we're doing. The two FDA approved treatments for hair loss is minoxidil and Propecia. And that's the two FDA approved. These other ones are cleared. This is a device. The hydrofacial is a device, and it's FDA cleared to do what it's doing. Um, which
Right.
is great. We've got a lot of FDA cleared devices.
Yeah.
Um,
And the lights and the Ellipsa is also
yep,
FDA cleared, which is
that's correct.
great. So you can talk about treating acne and fine lines and wrinkles. And they're working on a third indication for hair health and hair growth because it's already out there anyway. So all good. And Samantha's asking, how many treatments does it take to see results if someone has psoriasis of the scalp? I would say, you want to,
Wow.
I mean, it's not an easy answer.
Yeah. So for psoriasis of the scalp, I wouldn't use this as a treatment for psoriasis.
Great
You
answer.
could use this to, it can clear the scales, but it's not going to treat the underlying cause. So you're going to stop the underlying cause, but it will be helpful.
I love
It
that.
will make the scalp look better. So yeah, that is true.
Love it.
There's a new FDA approved topical, I actually speak for the company, called Zarive for seborrheic dermatitis of the scalp. And that's just a PDE4 inhibitors like Eucrisa or Otezla. It's just in that class, which is just an anti-inflammatory.
Okay, anti-inflammatory. That's great recommendation as well. You mentioned something. I know you're a bit of a workout fan, as am I, and and as a lot of people are on the call. You were mentioning, and I love your analogy of working out,
Yep.
and that you mentioned earlier, and nutrition and things like that. That's such a great analogy that you talk to your patients about. A little twist on that for
Mhm.
people who are now in clinics and practices who are offering semaglutide and weight loss, right? I read a clinical study about like the adverse reactions that can happen from skin on the face to hair on the head. And the hair on the head, the loss for hair on the head was the biggest percentage in the clinical study I had read,
Wow.
even more than, on the face. And that's, so you have anything you would, for me, what I say and for what we say is, hey, why not use Keravive as a preventative if you're going to use a semaglutide? How do you feel about that, and how would you add to that?
Well, I think that the Keravive treatment could be added into anybody who is, wanting to have better looking scalp and better looking hair. And the reason I say that, it's kind of like if you look at somebody's exercise regimen, to use that analogy, you could look at the Keravive maybe as doing yoga or Pilates or, riding a bike. Now, maybe the other things like the FDA approved medicines would be your running or your biking, but it all is going to help. Like everything that you do is going to help your scalp look better. So doing, the Keravive treatments is going to help with your scalp health, and it's a great option. I would never tell somebody that you're going to do one Keravive treatment and now you're going to have this nice, great full head of hair and everything's going to be perfect for you.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work that way. It's like telling somebody you're going to do 10 push-ups today, and tomorrow you're going to have these massive muscles, and
Oh
you're
yeah.
going to buy all new shirts because you're so much stronger. And that's just not going to happen. These are
Absolutely.
general improvements over time
Right.
that you are looking to, you're looking to change your regimen and to improve your scalp health. And it's not going to be one treatment. This is going to be a lifestyle for you.
Love that. And I always say it's not a one-time fix. One thing fix, nothing is. Our body's changing, our cells are always changing, your follicle is a living organism, like everything. I would love to work out one time and have a killer body the rest of my life. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's
But
like I washed my car and a week or two later it's dirty again. Well, yes, that's what happens. That's
such a good analogy. And I
yeah.
feel like consumers and customers and clients can resonate when you give your analogies. That's so it's humorous and it's relatable and it's really good. So that resonates with a consumer or a client or patient as well. So I love that. And yeah, absolutely. It's not a miracle. Nothing's a one-time fix. And I love the way the analogy you talk about, a yoga or Pilates and then lifting heavy weights or running, right? I mean, that's a really
Yeah, somebody says, "Well, what was it? What gave me the good-looking body?" And the answer is yes, all of it. You know,
exactly.
I think that Hydrafacial should consider coming out with a vitamin.
Love it.
There are these vitamin supplements that people are taking in
Right.
different, like Nutrafol or Viviscal. There are different options that people are using that help with scalp health. There are hair growth shampoos.
Right.
There are I'm trying to think which other options there are. Those are some really good ones.
I love those. And I always think,
But look at her, look at Maria's scalp. Look at that.
oh my God. Oh,
Like that is the
oh,
way
team.
it should look.
You
That is
guys hit some
beautiful.
reaction buttons here. This is
Um,
amazing.
do you have her gunky? Did you already
That
say
is
it?
gorgeous.
But that is
That
nice, clean. There's no plugging of the follicles here.
right.
The hairs are coming out in a nice way that's the way it should look. And I think having pictures like that, and I never saw this woman, but I live in Las Vegas, and one of the cocktail servers had gotten her scalp done. Never saw her, but they had like the tube that came out, and it was so filthy.
Oh,
Yeah,
hang on. Can you guys mute yourself?
yeah.
Hang on. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
No, it was just like this filthy, nasty tube full of hair product and dye, and it just wasn't right. But yeah, I'm sure she looked good, and I can't wait. There's Maria's scalp. So that's Maria's gunky right there.
Amazing. So Krista is asking if I can stop my share so they can see the scalp again. Okay, let me stop my share. It might get a little clunky, but they would like to see the scope picture.
Yeah.
Can we do that one more time, team? Or you guys put it away? Is it still there?
Yeah.
Lisa, team, can you do one more showing the after? Okay, I'm going to stop my share so that okay, screen gets bigger. Can you see it better now or no? Only, no? Okay, let me see if I can spotlight their screen. Oh, well, that didn't work. Let's see. Start video. Okay. All right. Well, that didn't work. So, for Lisa and Maria and Melissa, can you hit your video again to start video, and then we'll come back to it, team. And yeah. So I can pen her. There we go. And let me see if I can spotlight it. I'm not sure why. Spotlight. Okay, did that get better? I can only see Krista. Is it bigger?
It's just listed as iPhone. I mean, I can see it. I don't know if.
Okay, for the team, we see you only.
Oh, okay.
Well, if Rob's on the call, can you pitch hit this one? It got bigger for Krista. Okay. Well,
I think
then we're good. Then we're good.
I think one of the benefits of this treatment is actually showing the client or the patient, they're gunky, and especially with this image where you can see the follicles. You look at them beforehand and then you look at them after, and it's quite impressive.
All right, I'm going to try to flip back to my PowerPoint now. This may be tricky, so stay with me. Now, can you all see the big, or you can see my note section? I don't.
Yeah,
it's good. Full screen, Dr. Greenberg.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. I usually don't flip back and forth because that.
No, it's difficult. Yeah, but
it's difficult.
No, I think it was worth seeing that because you went on that journey with Maria as she got her scalp done, and it's very satisfying to see how good it looks. It's a time-consuming procedure, but very worthwhile.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of using a dermatoscope on the scalp, because on the face, you can see everything going on, hyperpigmentation, fine lines, wrinkles, but the scalp really magnifies it like 50 to 200 times. So I think that's important. I'm going to whiz through a couple of these slides, but because there are slides that I usually talk about, like what's happening in the beauty landscape of 2024. This has been decided by consumers globally. They want to know more about skinification of the hair. They're way into biomimetic peptides, which Keravive has, science behind their products, and retail opportunities. Keravive has all of those. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Dr. Greenberg, but just understanding the beauty landscape globally.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at what people come in wanting to have done. I try to keep an open mind with it. I'm amazed at what ideas people have of what's good for their skin health. Everybody's got a different idea. Everybody has a different style. I think having something to wash with, to anti-age with, and to moisturize with is good.
Love it. Love it. Then, this talking about like really understanding how to talk about it, really just truly one of the best ways to talk about it. It's a facial for your scalp. When we're talking about Keravive and Hydrafacial, they get it. It's a facial for your scalp. And something that I think is you're expert in skin, Dr. Greenberg, and what I'd love to hear your input on just scalp skin and, the purpose of it, the function of it. And, people used to think it was like the thinnest skin because it's so bony up there, right? And there's not a lot of fat underneath. Can you speak a little bit about the scalp skin?
I mean, it's super thick, and it's highly vascularized. I mean, there's a lot of blood vessels there. I don't enjoy, we do some surgeries in the clinics, and that's probably one of my least favorite areas to cut on because it's so bloody. Um,
Oh, interesting.
you know, there's a lot that's going on up there, and for whatever reason, when people start to lose their hair, they start to have growths that come about on the scalp, and maybe it's that it's pushing its way out through the hair. But you guys have a unique opportunity when you're up there in somebody's scalp. If you see something abnormal, and I've had hairstylists do this too, just send them to a dermatologist to get looked at, because you may be the only person who notices that abnormal thing on the scalp.
I love that. I hope everyone heard that. That is so important. And I've heard that in the past with you all can be that first line of defense, looking and seeing if there's unusual growths on the scalp, things that don't look normal, and just look like normal dry scalp or dead skin, right?
Mhm.
And I love, this is one of my favorite little pictures. It's a follicular unit or a follicle. Dr. Greenberg, you want to talk about the anatomy, just what's going on here?
Yeah, so you see the blood vessels below the hair bulb. There's the hair shaft where the hair is coming out. That sebaceous gland, when that gets plugged up, you get acne when it gets overfilled, and then you can also get cysts in that area of the sebaceous gland when that one gets plugged. When somebody has alopecia areata, or inflammation of, loss of hair in a round circle, it's usually because of inflammation at that hair bulb area down below. And that's pretty much it. It's the scalp. When your hair
Right?
stands on edge because you're freaked out, scared, or nervous, that erector pili muscle pulls, and that's why your hair goes up like that.
I always wondered what I mean, I know what is the purpose and how is the function? Like, why is it important for that erector pili muscle to make your hair stand on it? It's kind of funny. I always wondered. I'm like, And
I think it's part of the fight or flight
fight or
response.
flight. You're absolutely right. So your body's like understanding it's time to run from that, beast or
I know that, my hair's shorter now. I got a haircut recently. I know that not everybody can tell, but it certainly feels good when you're going for a run or something and your hair's just flowing in the breeze. I mean, hair's important,
Very
and
true.
there's a lot of sensations and feelings that people have with their scalp, and we see it in the clinic. People who have a condition called neurotic excoriations, they pick at their scalp, and I've seen people pick at their scalp clear down to the bone.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of people who have just some neuropsychological issues regarding their scalps and their hair, and you have to be aware of these things when you're looking
Yeah.
at somebody.
It's interesting. Does like it's not one simple thing. The more you read about it, you see all kind of things, even like hair pulling condition, right? Where they pull on their hair and things like that. But yeah,
Mania.
something else you were going to add, Dr. Greenberg?
No, no.
Oh, um, and this I think is important when you look at the hair growth cycles, because Keravive was designed to work in all the cycles. We have anagen, catagen, telogen, exogen. It's normal to lose up to 100 hairs a day, and then returning back to that anagen phase again. You talked about sometimes you don't like doing surgery on the scalp because it gets really bloody, because it's like, right, like you said, super vascular, because I would assume, and I'd love you to speak to this, is that blood flow feeds that new dermal papilla, that new hair forming. That's probably a reason. I'm throwing that out there. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, you have these. It just requires a lot of nutrition to get to the hair, and in order to get it there, you need a system, and that system is your veins, or I'm sorry, your arteries, your capillaries. The veins take away, and the lymphatics take away, but that's what you need. You need that system in place, and it can be quite vascular. And insofar as people say, well, my hair only grows this long. Well, right, your hair only grows this long because your anagen phase, that's as long as your anagen phase is. Certain people's anagen phases are longer than others, and they can grow their hair longer. But if you look at somebody's like the hair on your head is going to be longer than the hair on your eyebrows, which is going to be longer than like your eyelashes, for instance. And that's just the defined period of time over which your hair is going to grow.
I love what you said, and we get so many questions about that. Like, why does beard hair grow thicker and fuller and somebody's totally bald, but they have this gorgeous beard? Is it that the DHT affects beard hair differently? Or tell us about that.
Uh, well, there are certain areas on the scalp that are affected by the DHT that aren't affected in other areas. DHT responsive, and the beard isn't one of those. So you'll see it where the people lose their hair up here, but they can still grow a beard, and that's just the way the hair grows.
Got it. Do we have any more questions? Let me check the chat box. They're just adding in, loving what you're saying, and just lots of agreement and all good stuff. So is there anything in particular that I know that I really just kind of really admire everything you do and how you talk about the overall, like 300, I talk about like a 360 degrees, like it's not just one thing. When you have a patient, you're like, it's not one answer. There's not, I always say, one road to enlightenment, one road to success. I say, a lot of times it takes several things. I love you talking about nutrition from the inside out. Maybe you add in just different modalities or just different treatment options. Is there anything else that you kind of feel inspired to talk about in your practice, what you do? And I'd love if you drop in the chat box, or maybe Lisa and I loved your blog you mentioned. I love for people to follow you. Should they just go to your Instagram to find it, or?
Yeah, our website is just lvderm.com or lasvegasdermatology.com. So yeah, they can go there, and there's the Dr. Vegas blog on it. It should drop tomorrow. But
Awesome.
what was your question, Beth?
Just really, I mean, I think it's really just reiterating that, there are different things and different treatment modalities that you look at or you like to combine. I think you said you prefer adding a multiple of things because there's not one thing that causes hair loss, one thing. There's several things. So I love
Yeah,
that you're
usually it's
talking about.
multifactorial. I went to one of the Hydrafacial meetings, and one of the doctors who was there, and I'm blanking on his name, he was the guy from the TV show Botched, and he was saying,
Nassif?
yeah, Paul Nassif was there, and he was saying before he does a nose job on somebody, he makes sure they get a Hydrafacial. And I thought, wow, yeah, that's smart, because now you're cleaning, the face off, you're prepping it. And I think and we do a thing in our clinic called the 444, which is 4 Hydrafacials, 4 broadband lights, 4 Moxie treatments, and 4 microneedling treatments, for anti-aging and to get rid of brown spots and to tighten up skin. But the Hydrafacial is an important part of it. And I do think when you have people there getting Hydrafacial for another, condition, and you notice that they have thinning of their scalp, again, I would never bring up something that I wouldn't be able to treat, but if you're able to treat their scalp, then I would, bring up, have you ever thought about doing Hydrafacial on your scalp?
Love
And
it.
I think that's a perfect opportunity.
That is. And I love how you said that. Have you ever thought about doing hydrofacial on your scalp? And you were also saying, empathy or understanding, because when people lose their hair, it's a confidence killer.
Yep.
And, you have to be gentle on, mindful how you say things. You don't want to say, oh my gosh, I see you have a big spot of hair, that you've lost. And a big, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be careful how you word things. And you can even, I've been in practice now since 2006, and had Las Vegas Dermatology since 2007. And I'm not perfect when I come to wording things with people. I'm usually very blunt, and sometimes it doesn't come across how I want it to. Uh, but it comes from a good place what I'm saying to
Exactly.
these people. And if you offend somebody, just apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. I was just trying to help. I just wanted to get you the best results. There's
Love that.
times you walk in the room and somebody's crying, or they'll say they're there for hair loss, and you say, "But your hair looks great," and then they take off this wig, you know, and you didn't know it
Uh,
was a wig. Um,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
there's a lot. There's a lot of emotions in what we do, and you're gonna see it. We're dealing with human beings. If we didn't want to deal with human beings, we would have been veterinarians.
exactly. That's a good one. Absolutely. I love that. And Dr. Greenberg, I think there's one more question. So people are loving what you're saying. They're putting fire emojis. They're loving everything. So there was a question that came from Cheyenne. And I don't know if you could speak to this, would be amazing. How long after a patient completes chemotherapy would you recommend starting Keravive treatment? Obviously, oncologist needs to approve, but I wasn't sure if you had a recommendation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a friend, she had breast cancer, and she wanted to keep her hair, and they told her to wear like this cold helmet or something when she was getting her chemo to preserve her hair. Um, and she still had her hair after it. I'm sure that it depends on what kind of chemo somebody's getting, etc. Uh, I wouldn't feel like I would need to ask the oncologist if somebody can have a hydrofacial of their scalp or not. Uh, but I would just say you can do it anytime. I don't see a reason why you couldn't do it.
I love that. And I can also say that I know that people who have received, gotten through chemo or radiation, lost their hair, when they asked their oncologist and got permission, and
Sure.
often they do. It's rare that they don't. They've had some really nice results as well.
It's
So
like I had
it
a
helps.
patient come in today who happens to be in the anesthesia field, and I was doing a biopsy, and they said, "Oh, you can use epinephrine, but they're also pregnant." And I says, "No, I was always taught that I don't use epinephrine, on someone who's pregnant." And anyway, I do it the way that I do it. I do it the same way every time, and it may be boring, but at least I feel comfortable knowing that that's how I do it. And I
That's
would say
great.
if you feel uncomfortable treating somebody who's had chemotherapy and you want to get the, okay from the oncologist, then fine, then get the okay. If you feel comfortable that you don't need it, then don't do it. But, this is your practice. Ultimately you're going to be the one who's responsible for what happens. I think that this modality is very low risk, and I think it can be used pretty much on anybody.
Love that. Yeah, low risk and
If somebody
really.
has telogen effluvium where their hair is falling out, or anagen effluvium where they're on chemotherapy actively, it's possible that more of the hair will fall out. But I really think the damage has already been done with those conditions.
That's great because that was like segue to the next slide with telogen effluvium, anagen effluvium, traction-induced alopecia, which is interesting too, which
Yeah.
I love to hear your take on, but that's something I feel like we can control, right? It's
Uh,
extensions, it's braids, it's locks, it's repetitive ponytails, it's wearing hats, it's pulling your hair back too much, too repetitive, and then not giving it the nurture and love it deserves with nutrients and nutrition, etc. So that's something I feel like we have a definitive effect that we can help. And
I
you've
do think it makes a
mentioned,
difference, if somebody is always pulling their hair back and pulling it back really tight, then yes, I do think it makes a difference. But you look at somebody, and I know that this is probably not necessarily everybody on this call because I'm probably older than most of you, but George Burns was a comic, and he lived into his 90s, and he always used to smoke cigars. Okay. And it's like, no, you shouldn't smoke. But this guy lived into his 90s. And so for him, it didn't matter. For certain people, pulling their hair back, it may have absolutely no effect on them. But for other people, I've seen the traction alopecia, and it's quite obvious when you see it in the areas that they are pulling back their hair. So it can be a real thing, and you're going to want to advise them to adjust their hairstyle. But not everybody does what we want them to do.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, I think we're great as far as we've got. I mean, do you guys have any more questions? I'm going to go through just a little bit of our promos, pricing, and what's available. We have a special promo for this call and everything that's available on the drop. And does anybody have any other questions before for Dr. Greenberg? And you're welcome to stay through to the end. Oh, can they get can they get Keravive if they have psoriasis? Memory, he did actually address that early on, but
You can, yeah, you can get Keravive if you have psoriasis. You can get it if you have, seborrheic dermatitis. Again, I don't think there's any condition where I would tell somebody you absolutely cannot get it. Now, maybe if they had, some kind of, and even then, like where they have, you know, a bunch of inflammation and infection. If their scalp was super infected, I think you should treat the infection first and then do hydrofacial. So I wouldn't want to drag the device over obviously infected skin. So if somebody has multiple abscesses on their scalp and follicles and they're acutely inflamed with like a dissecting folliculitis, then no, don't do it there. But if it's just psoriasis or just a little eczema or seborrhea, no problem.
I love that. And what did you say? It's your term that it's pretty, not as invasive, not very harmful.
Yeah, this is a really benign therapy.
Yeah. But
It's a great modality, and I'm a huge fan. I wish that I got more of it. I wish I got treated more. I'm just so busy not being able to take time for me. I'm always they say the shoemaker has no shoes.
right. Right. But you got such a great team there. They're going to run in there and give you one while you're talking to us. So, and someone asked if this is a great question, scarring alopecia or things like CCCA. What do you say about that?
I don't think it's going to do very much for it.
Right.
If you're scarring, there's probably some underlying inflammation. You have to treat that. Again, I don't think it's going to hurt you. So
Right.
yeah, you can do it. You can say, look, we're going to clean your scalp off and, maybe that will be helpful. And then they'll do whatever topicals or injectables they're going to do. But I wouldn't sell it as you're going to get this and it's going to improve your hair growth, because it probably won't.
Right. That's a great answer. Any last thoughts or things that you want to add, or just anything that inspires you? I think we came on the call talking about, using a dermatoscope, how to provide a, successful consultation, understanding hair loss, understanding the market. I love the idea of your combo therapy. That's one thing we want to talk about. And I love how you talked about psoriasis and eczema and sebderm and lichen planopilaris and all those things, because we get asked that all the time. And we're so fortunate to be able to talk to you about it and your team that did an incredible job. Her technique was perfect. And I love
very
that Maria.
passionate too. I think Melissa went to the academy for hydrofacial has some educational opportunities, and she's certainly taken advantage of those. And I do think it makes a difference. The devices, it tells you what to do on them, but having an expert show you how to use it and do it properly, it does make a difference. So yes, I would say if you have one of these devices and you're going to be treating people, learn as much as you can about it, learn the proper techniques, learn how to use it appropriately, and then you're going to give a better service to your clients, and it'll be better for you in the long run.
I love that. And just adding on, talking about the in-center or in-person training we offer as a company, which is very unique, and it's not a lot of companies do that, and it's built in, is free to you. And talking about, I think, the HFX, maybe Maria, Melissa coming, we have a Long Beach center and a New York center, and coming to these in-center, in-person 2-day. In fact, I'm going tomorrow for an advanced training that I'll be hosting in center. It's really important because education is and knowledge is power. Confidence is great as well. That helps with all of that. And I like that nod to always educating yourself and always learning.
Yep. Yeah, I think the more you know, the better off everybody is. I would say go to as many, educational classes as you can to take advantage of the opportunities. We had a doctor come to visit us from South Korea who has Hydrafacial in South Korea in Seoul, but she wanted to see what the newer devices were because they didn't have those devices where she is. Now she has those devices. So, I think in June, I went and visited a colleague in Bangalore, India, and I got to see her clinic. And I think seeing the way that other people do their practice will help you define how you want to do your practice. There's a lot of really good ideas out there, and this company has been very supportive of our practice, and we're definitely excited to partner and work with you guys.
Thank you so much, Dr. Greenberg. That was amazing. And this is recorded, so it's available to all of you on our Hydrafacial website. And I'm just going to go through a couple last follow-up slides. And it's been
Sure.
just incredible.
Well, I would say if it's recorded on TikTok, it's Dr. Vegas. On
Okay.
Instagram, HL Greenberg, LV
Okay.
Derm Bro, or Vegas Derm Bros, and good luck, everybody. Have fun with it. This is a really great and easy device to use, and I think you're going to do a lot of good for a lot of people with it.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your time. What you shared with everyone on this call was so wonderful and so helpful, and to give a little bit of you and to share your knowledge and connect with this whole community. Thank you so much, Dr. Greenberg.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck. Have fun with it.
Pleasure. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So for those of you who want to stay on the call, I just wanted to go through a couple of slides that you all asked about. We already talked about this, but specifically areas of concern. Most all of this we went over with Dr. Greenberg as well. This is one we talked about with Dr. Greenberg too. And this is something I wanted to show you all just about the peptides itself. Is the concentration in the delivery system. It has the ability to penetrate exactly where it needs to in the follicle, which is the bulge of the follicle. Here's a non-treated scalp. Here's a scalp treated with other products on the market, and here's Keravive, and you can see it penetrating exactly where it needs to in the follicle. There's a clinical study using after 3 months treatment showing a less itchy scalp, reduced hair loss and thinning. These are things you can also talk about on Instagram and on your website. The clinical study that we have is phenomenal. You can talk about these things, what patients reported about their hair health, fullness. They're showing their hair was growing back less gray, and a significant improvement of the confidence of their appearance, which I think is amazing. This is the newly reworked study. It's available to you all in the drop. Print these out, have these handy, and show your clients. And when you talk about Keravive, show them this. And I love what Lisa, Melissa, and Maria showing on the before and after side by side. You all can, I know the screen is small again, but that is incredible. You can see the keratin plug at the base of the follicle on the left and how clean and clear it is on the right. It's just incredible. Beautiful results with that. And these are just more before and afters. Just the hits keep coming. It's incredible. The more you use it, the better it works, and staying compliant. And here's some before and afters with DermScope showing immediate before and afters that will change your life right here. Do you see the before and afters? That's incredible. That is Keravive. That is the power of Keravive, which is incredible. And you all can have these same exact results, right? Just know how to talk about it, know how to use it, do exactly what Melissa and Lisa did there, showing just more before and afters. Gunky for the face, gunky for the scalp. Next level, right? I like to call this one clam chowder because it's a lot, and that's what's living on our scalp and causing us to lose hair, right? More before and afters. This is something someone asked early on about areas of concern. This is what I want you to see. It's also on the drop. You can see this is typical male pattern baldness and female pattern baldness as well. You can see, and so these are areas you'd want to treat. So I don't know if it's Jasmine or Crystal, someone was asking about identifying hair loss and hair thinning. This is on the drop. combining it with LED massage, PRP, microneedling. Dr. Greenberg talked a lot about that. This is the positioning of the ellipsa that I like, is canopy over the top of the head. Recommended prices, and you can customize the vials. We talked a lot about that. You can use 1 to 2 to even 3 vials if you have somebody with really thick, dense, dry hair. And then as far as what prices you can offer, Lisa talked about that as well. Maybe for partial scalp, series of 3, 8, 10, full scalp, anywhere from 1,500 to 1,080. Also, your biggest revenue driver there is for Hydrafacial is Keravive, because it has the retail spray. This is that expert kit I was talking to you about. That's a really great deal. This one in particular brings your cost per treatment down to about $60. If you're interested in the expert kit, let me or your BDM or IBDM know. This is available during HKX. And all of these tools that are on the drop, massive amounts. We jam pack the drop. If you can't get into the drop, reach out to your IBDM or BDM to get you there, because we have created more materials than you can ever imagine. My next guest is going to be September 27th, Madison Crown. She really talks about Keravive in a holistic kind of view. And I love her style. She's amazing. So please join us September 24th. Also, what's new and coming? We do a Keravive front desk success training to really train your front desk on how to talk about Keravive. I'm putting together one for Keravive and the power of peptides, best practices using a dermatoscope, mastering red light therapy, and also talking about the new clinical study, chatting with Dr. Velasquez, and Keravive and the rapid weight loss client. There's more and more we keep building to educate you. As Dr. Greenberg said, we want to make sure you keep educating yourself, because we're always learning. There's always more to know. And anything for just so you know, this is already it's going to be recorded next week on the Hydrafacial website. Somebody asked about that. And Lisa, your team is still on the call. Lisa, Melissa, Maria, any last words you want to add? I don't know if they're still on or if they might have muted themselves. I think they may have hopped off with Dr. G. So I will just say thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'll send some follow-up emails, and please join us for the next HKX. And this was such a wonderful HKX. And Lisa says they will post too. And Lisa is Hydrafacial_Skin Pro on Instagram. So thank you all. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Happy Keraviving. Keep giving your scalp love and taking good care of your scalp. Have a great day.